This is Saturday Morning Mysteries.
And we're your hosts, Alexis and Grace.
Hello, good morning, and welcome back to another episode of Saturday Morning Mysteries. We're your hosts. I'm Grace.
And I'm Alexis.
And we're back with another Inspector Gadget episode. I'm nervous about this one. I have a feeling that chaos is coming. As always, don't know what Alexis is about to tell me, but her pre-recording faces she gave me tells me we're in for another doozy here with a good old Inspector Gadget. So
we are. Yeah.
I'm just going to hand it right to you, unless we got other business that I don't know about.
I don't think so. I think
we've made no progress on our bracket.
Yeah, as you can see, we're wearing the exact same outfits that we were wearing last week because it's only been about 15 minutes since we recorded last week's episode.
Didn't go make a new bracket or any bracket in that time,
My
so
bad.
she probably had a snack.
Listen, there's a lot of things I can do. I can't make a full bracket of cartoon theme songs in 15 minutes or less while also proofreading and double checking the episode that I'm about to record.
Yeah, making a little snack, finishing off your coffee. Yeah,
exactly. There's a little bathroom break, refilling my water, etc. It's 15 minutes there's only so much you can do in 15 minutes. Okay,
only so much. There's one person.
Making a bracket of cartoon theme songs is not one of them.
Yeah, sometimes. That's a lot of work.
Yeah,
that's a lot of work.
Yeah, so but don't worry, it's coming. It is coming. I guess next week maybe we'll
see.
Dive into it. We'll see. No promises. No, just kidding. I am committed now. I'm committed. I'm going to do it. Probably honestly only takes a few seconds to make there. You can get like brackets like on Google for
just like put in
a 2-second search, empty bracket.
Yes. Yeah. Fill in bracket for me. But you got to figure out all of the shows we've covered.
The seating, exactly.
Just the ones we've
That's going to be the hard thing is going to be figuring out who to match up against who. But don't worry. Get something going.
Or just randomize it on Google.
That's probably the best way to do it. No, you got to put some thought into this because look, we know that Darkwing Duck and like Inspector Gadget are both 1 seeds. Okay, these are favorites for sure. And then I would put like Scooby-Doo and maybe the Amazing Chan as number 2 seeds probably.
But also which Scooby-Doo?
That's a good point.
That's going to be
got What's New Scooby-Doo. You've got the OG. Yeah, so don't worry.
We'll get to it.
Yeah, I'll just take a day off of work to put all of this together. It's fine.
Good, as it should happen, correct?
Yes. But yeah, my pre-recording facial expressions were pretty evident probably of where we're going today. But I also think it's just like the 3rd episode that we're talking about of Inspector Gadget today. At a certain point, we're just gonna be sitting here just like again. Our theme is thanks for sticking with me through that. And before we even start today, I'm going to say preemptively, thank you for getting ready to stick through this one with me.
I'm ready.
Because today's episode, it is from season 2. It's episode 10, and it is called Ghost Catchers. So,
yes, let's get some ghost hunting. I'm ready.
Just prepare yourself. Deep breath. Okay. So. The episode actually begins pretty calmly, unlike how the episode ends and everything else goes after this. It's quiet afternoon, and we are actually inside of Inspector Gadget's home in Metro City, which, apparently he has a home. And it is a massive, very big home, actually. It kind of looks like this literally just came from me, just remembering what it looks like. Reminds me of the have you heard of the Winchester Mystery House or whatever? Like it's just all these random parts kind of stacked on each other. Exactly. Yeah, there's like weird staircases going different places.
Yes, dead ends.
Like it seems that way. At least when you're looking at it from the outside, it looks like 3 different houses combined into one, but not in like a cohesive way. It's like they put one part of a house here and another part of that same house down here, and then another part of a second house here and another part here. It's not like 3 houses together. It's just like
it's
here's 3 different architectural styles.
Did you know why she built the house like that?
I think so refresh me because I've heard it doesn't, but maybe.
ghosts. So
Oh,
basically, well,
well,
one, she
yes,
would
yeah, it's
have
haunted, quote unquote.
yeah, she would have like different construction crews, all like she wouldn't tell them what they would be
Yeah.
doing. She wouldn't
Yes.
let them work together, all this kind of stuff. But I'm pretty sure, because obviously Winchester, she's like of the Winchester rifle family.
Family.
And I'm
Yes.
pretty sure, like 76% sure that it was like she was basically terrified that like all of the ghosts of people who Winchester rifles have killed like would come
Yeah.
haunt her, and thus if she made this insane fucked up house that like
Yeah. They
it
wouldn't
would,
know where to go.
yes, exactly, like how to find her and
Yeah.
stuff. So that's
Which
it.
is
That's all I
like
have to say
she's
about that.
forgetting the part where ghosts can like phase through walls and
Yeah, they
stuff
just
and all of
continue
that.
walking
So it
towards her.
was, yeah, yeah. Fascinating story for real.
Yeah.
And tells you a lot about what rich people do when they have a lot of money, I
And a
guess,
guilty
and a lot
conscience.
of enemies. Exactly. And a guilty conscience.
Which I mean,
Exactly.
hey, Gadget has a lot of enemies, so maybe that's why this house is like this.
Truly. And I mean, yeah, that's one way for Dr. Claw to never be able to find him or like
Yep.
actually kill him in his home is if he literally had, if it's he opens a door that leads to nowhere, you
Yeah,
know?
he's lost
It's like, oh, I thought
immediately.
Gadget just ran back here. Nope.
Nope,
Yeah.
gone.
So actually, you're right. It does check out. And it does actually somewhat relate to this
Hmm.
episode, kind of ish. We'll see.
There's
So,
a ghost and a
anyways,
weird house. Done. Doesn't need to
yes.
do more than that.
So Penny and all of them, Penny and Gadget and Brain, they're hanging out in the living room. They're all relaxing. It's a nice, calm, late afternoon in the Gadget home. Gadget's
Okay.
reading the paper. Brain is just napping on the floor by Gadget and Penny's feet. It's very adorable. And Penny is finishing a report that she says is on the history of computers. So something that she is obviously
Oh,
very into.
83. That's a
Um,
short, short paper.
So I will say, I started to type that in here because I was thinking the exact same thing you just said. I was like, what? It's like 30 years of history. How big is that book of like what that she's reading from?
Yeah.
And I looked it up, and so I took it out because I was like, okay, maybe that's not super accurate. So let's see what my memory is looking like this morning. In 1946, I think
Oh,
was the use
God.
of the first computer, like the
Okay.
modern computer.
Uh-huh.
But apparently, computing devices of some sort, or like the first computer of any kind,
Yeah.
actually dates back to like 1870 something,
Oh.
1873, maybe is what Wikipedia said,
Uh-huh.
something like that. So I was like, okay, so she does actually maybe have like,
All
is it the
right.
modern
A
computer?
couple
No, it's probably
pages.
just like a freaking abacus of some sort with like
Yeah.
a screen attached to it, right?
Yes.
That was in the 1800s. But
Yeah.
I know, because I literally started to
We're
put
the
that
same
exact
person.
same thing. And I was like, when was the first computer invented? And I was like, oh,
Oh.
technically the 18.
Okay, well, I'm glad you did this research still because you
Yeah.
maybe deep down you knew I was going to say the same thing, have the same thought, and you were
Yeah.
prepared. Good
Yeah.
job.
Yeah. Well, I took it out and I was like, watch Grace still bring it up. And then I'm going to have to try to remember those years. But it's
First
something like
question.
that. But
Cool.
even so, it's still like, okay, 100 years of history, like big whoop
Yeah.
penny.
Big
And I
paper
will also,
penny.
and I did keep this in here that the book she's reading on the history of computers is like literally a picture book though. Like it's like pictures with arrows pointing to other pictures and like a graph or like a
Here's the
diagram and she's
timeline.
just flipping through it. Yeah. So it's like at the same time, all
How
right,
advanced
that's
is this research?
there's not that is pretty much all you can put in like the 100 years of the computer history that had existed up to
Yes.
that point. So yeah. Anyways, Penny's flipping through this book, working on her project, and she tells Gadget, without him even asking at all, she's just like, hey, Uncle Gadget, according to this book I'm reading, most of the gadgets that the doctor put in your body have now
Whoa.
been surpassed,
Whoa.
which a
That
lot to
sentence.
unpack there.
Whew. How much time we got?
A lot to unpack in that one little sentence. This is
Whoa.
Penny's first line of the episode, guys,
This is the home life. We're now
of
seeing
Gadget.
it.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so
Whew.
it's fully
Okay.
acknowledged that this man had a surgery to put stuff in his body. A
That
doctor did
doctor
this. He's not
did.
natural, and that he's also
It's
outdated.
outdated.
Yes.
Damn.
And
That cut deep.
Gadget is offended by this. So Gadget has
Rightfully
another
so.
lucid moment.
Yeah.
he realizes that this is obviously an insult. And so he like scoffs at Penny and is like, Penny, it's time for you to take your bath. Go upstairs and take your bath. Get the fuck out of my face with that
Good
bullshit. And shortly after, she listens and she does. She's like, okay, fine. I'll finish my report when I get back down. And shortly after this, Gadget gets a phone call. They have a whole phone booth in their house, apparently, for whatever Winchester Ghost Mansion or whatever, just random shit that you never
listening in on the calls if you're in a phone booth.
Exactly. It's a skiff. Yeah, it's a skiff. So he gets a call from Chief Quimby. And Quimby is basically telling him through various shenanigans to meet him in the basement of the house so that he can get his next assignment. I think Quimby's like hiding in the furnace or something, the hot water heater. Yeah.
Quimby's like, I was trying to get to the living room where you are, and I have no idea how the fuck to get here. There, this is where
I got lost. I ended up in the hot water heater in the basement.
Please come help me.
Just come down here. Yes. So Brain follows Gadget down to the basement to meet Quimby, and Brain is like overhearing the assignment. And what Quimby basically tells Gadget is that ghosts are appearing in the homes of Metro City's most distinguished families.
Okay.
Gadget now is assigned to discover the cause of these ghosts and get rid of them. And of course, suspect that Mad is behind the whole plot. And again, we've got distinguished families here, so you're right. Maybe this does have more to do with the Winchester Mansion than I wanted to admit. Yeah, I didn't even type that in here. The Winchester Mansion thing. It literally just came to me as we were talking about this. So I think it was meant to be.
Yep.
I knew all along. It was always Mrs. Winchester, her batshit crazy beliefs. Anyways, so Gadget tells Chief Quimby, of course, not to worry, that he'll get to the bottom of it and that they'll get this investigation figured out in no time. But Brain, meanwhile, has fully passed out behind them from fear because we learned that this poor boy is absolutely terrified of ghosts or even the thought of them. So when he just even hears that ghosts are involved, he's like, oh, fuck no, I'm out. AKA, I'm passing out.
Half of this team is gone. This investigation team is out. Oh, no.
It's going to be rough. It's going to be a rough one.
It's all up to Penny now.
Well, but at the same time, we know Brain's got that dog in him, so just put a pin in that.
Yep.
Yeah, he'll muster it up. Yep. So Penny gets out of the shower shortly after Gadget's done meeting with Chief Quimby, and Gadget tells her like, "Hey, I've been given an assignment. You stay here, finish your report, and then go to bed immediately after. This shouldn't take me long. I'll be back later tonight." So Penny is like, okay, sure, Uncle Gadget sounds good. And then as per usual, she looks at Brain like, Brain.
What'd you learn?
Exactly. Well, I don't even think she gets the details on it. Or actually, you're right. I think you're right, though. I think Brain does mention something about ghosts because Penny's like, oh, Brain, ghosts don't exist. You don't have to be worried about that. And she says then, like, go with Uncle Gadget, make sure he stays safe and watch over him. Let me know if anything happens. Cool. And Brain is like, do I have to? But she assures him again, no, you're fine. There's no ghosts. So he reluctantly gives in and follows Gadget out to the van so that they can leave for their assignment.
Cool.
So before we talk, though, about this suspected mad plot and Gadget's assignment, let's, of course, do our usual Wikipedia deep dive here and talk about ghost hunting a little bit.
Yes. Oh, ghost hunting.
Paranormal investigations. Yes.
Hell yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell me.
I feel like we talk about ghosts enough on this podcast where I was like, oh, let's talk about ghosts. And then I like backspace, like, never mind. That's a little too broad. Let's focus in on ghost hunting in particular.
Yes. Hell yeah.
So ghost hunting is which also people who listen to this podcast, I'm sure, are very familiar with the concept of ghost hunting because you're probably into like kind of creepy, weird crime related shit anyways. So
you're already here with us.
Like preaching to the choir at this point.
But I still want to hear what you found out. I want to learn more.
Little tidbits.
Like Ed Hardy, like they do in Ghost Adventures. Zach Baggins. Bagans, whatever the fuck his last name is.
Exactly. Do we need to start like gelling our hair back? What do we need? So ghost hunting is the process of investigating locations that are purportedly haunted by ghosts. And I will also say the ghost hunting Wikipedia page is written very much like a cryptid page because it is a pseudoscience. Not only is it huge, but it has a lot of reasonable doubt in it, such as putting
Or is it?
parentheses around the words evidence and purportedly and calling it a pseudoscience and saying that they
Amazing.
rarely use the scientific method in their methodology, et cetera, right?
Okay,
so
let's go.
typically, a ghost hunting team will attempt to collect evidence supporting the existence of paranormal activity. And ghost hunters do also refer to themselves as paranormal investigators.
Okay.
Typically, they use a whole bunch of, devices and electronic gadgets and everything to hunt ghosts, including EMF meters, which I probably should have looked at what that stood for, but I think it has electromagnetic field. That's what it is. Electromagnetic field, because ghosts are believed to give off like a higher electromagnetic field or something, perhaps, so you can like sense them on these sort of detectors. So they've got those. They use digital thermometers because there's the old trope about everything cooling down when a ghost is present. Exactly. Digital video cameras, night vision cameras, night goggles, anyone who's ever watched Ghost Hunters or, like you said, Ghost Adventures, or even seen any of like the Conjuring movies or whatever, know what we're talking about here. You've seen it all. So, interestingly enough, I will also say, so those are more modern technological advances that ghost hunters use, but more traditional techniques include conducting interviews, researching the history of allegedly haunted sites, which is like more my kind of like interest in quote unquote
like, tell me
ghost
what
hunting.
Happened here.
Exactly. And then trying to piece together things that way. And then also our favorite way of researching ghost things.
Does it involve a alphabet, perhaps, and
perhaps a board of some sort, a Ouija board, if you will? Exactly.
Our favorite.
So paranormal research dates back to the 19th century, so the 1800s, with organizations such as the Society for Psychical Research, investigating spiritual matters going back as far as 1882. And this is an organization in the United Kingdom that is still around today and claims to be the first organization that had any sort of interest in like researching the metaphysical and like the spiritual realm and its connection to
and trying to put like sciencey things on it.
Exactly.
Like in that way.
But exactly, like trying to make it an actual science of some sort. And I think it's called parapsychology is like the name of that field of people who do like paranormal research and like researching ghosts.
Okay.
And interestingly, one of the founders of that organization, I didn't put too much in here on them, but it's fun to mention that I think one of them was like a cleric. So like a religious leader of sorts who also claimed to be a spiritual medium. So I just thought that was interesting
both
because
audiences.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. Like, I feel like he's kind of like talking out both sides of his mouth then, if that's the case, but like good for him.
Yeah, the front door, one door he'll give you a confession, the other door he'll read your palm.
He'll link you to he'll link you to the other realm, like to the astral plane. Yeah. Ghost hunting though, so even though it goes back as far as 1882 that we know, I'm sure some people were doing it in some way before that this, organization began, but they were the ones to like really make it official, like come together as a meeting of the minds and like create this group. But nowadays we see that ghost hunting is becoming way more popularized, and specifically like people think that came as a result of television shows from the 2000s, like you mentioned, like Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures, Most Haunted, etc.
Yeah.
Things that I know I even watched a lot growing up, thinking like, wow, how cool. And now looking back on as an adult, I'm like, wow, how fake. But like dramatic, I guess.
But like I want to watch it still.
Yeah, exactly. It's still entertaining. It's TV. So it was like those TV shows with an increased availability of a lot of that high tech, quote unquote, equipment that I listed off earlier. Like everybody can get night vision cameras now. Everybody can get night goggles. Everyone has seen like, these different movies that are making them want to go out and think that they can do these things that they're seeing on TV and in the theaters.
Like Paranormal Activity coming out in like the 90s or
exactly.
whatever.
Mid early 2000s or just other, like Poltergeist type stuff where like they had investigators come in their house in that book and in that movie and like type stuff into computers and record things
Enhance,
and think that
enhance,
they saw things.
enhance.
Enhance, exactly. It's like you can't enhance. That's not a real thing. You can just make it larger, but then it's grainy. Anyways, pet peeves about these
Love it.
unscientific processes. But unfortunately, the popularity of ghost hunting has led to a lot of injuries and some pretty unfortunate events, like in the
Oh,
modern age. Yeah, this was all
oh.
news to me from reading this page. So, for example, in 2006, a trio of teenage girls from Worthington, Ohio,
Uh-oh.
which is just a little bit north of Columbus, yeah,
Okay.
decided to go ghost hunting at a well-known and possibly haunted house in their community. And this place
Okay.
was like across the street, I think, from this very old and kind of like overgrown, decrepit cemetery. So they just assumed, like, oh, yeah, it's probably haunted then. And it was a very old and kind of decrepit house as well.
Uh-huh.
But these teenagers, and I guess a lot of other people in the town, did not know that the infamous house was actually occupied. Someone actually was living
Oh
there, I think
no.
with his mother too. So at least two people were living there.
Okay.
And this is Ohio. So
No. Oh no.
unfortunately, the teenagers, they got out of their car, they kind of stepped along the edge of the property and
Ugh.
were exploring a bit.
And he thought someone
And the
was like trying to
homeowner
break in.
yeah, the homeowner did not take lightly to that. So he actually started, or I shouldn't
Shooting.
assume it was a he, but
Yeah.
they started opening fire on the teenagers'
Oh
car
my
as the
God.
teenagers were trying to leave the property, seriously injuring one who, from the article I read, I think it said she actually was shot in the head, but she
Oh my
survived.
God.
Thankfully, yeah, she survived. Everyone else survived. She was obviously seriously injured, and the homeowner
Whoa.
did, I think, serve like 3 years or something in prison for either probably like
Whoa.
attempted murder or like involved some sort of something terrible.
Yeah.
Obviously, like bro, shoot, they were fleeing. You can't like you can defend your property to a certain degree, but if someone
Right.
is fleeing your house in a car, you can't
It's
just like
not really
shoot
a
at their
defense
car. Exactly. It's
situation.
not equal force either. Like you can throw a
Yeah.
rock at their car probably and they're not going to sue
Yeah.
you, but like,
This is like the
yeah, you
opposite of
can't just
Boo
start
Radley.
shooting.
This is not, it's what everyone thought would happen with Boo Radley, and then it was the opposite.
Yeah. In Worthington, Ohio, no less.
Woo, okay. That's so scary.
Yeah, that would be terrifying. And I mean, you never know too. And it makes me think too, like growing up, we did shithead stuff like that all the time, just
Yeah.
like creeping through the woods, creeping upon random properties that look kind of abandoned or decrepit. And it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
don't do that, kids. Don't do that. Or be careful.
Yeah. The
Just,
90s
yeah,
were wild and
they were
unwieldy
in the early
with no
2000s.
supervision.
And
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
we turned out
exactly.
fine, but some
Yeah,
people
we're
did not.
here. Did not, sadly, like
Yeah.
some of these people. And one other example is a case from September of 2009 in Toronto, Canada, where a 29-year-old woman was hunting for ghosts with an unidentified man, I guess a
Oh,
friend of hers, at an old building on the University of Toronto's campus. And
okay.
while she was investigating, she fell 3 stories to her death after landing in the courtyard at this campus building. Yeah, because
What?
according to the police, the two people, the woman and this man, were attempting while they were exploring this old, very old building that I think it said like 130 something years old. They
Uh-huh.
were attempting to jump from one quadrant to
Oh
another,
my God.
which in my mind makes me think because this
There's
article
a
also said
gap.
it was like a Gothic building. So I think it
Oh
had like those
God.
tall like steeple type things or almost like the
Yeah.
clock
Kind of
tower looking things that
spiders.
are on different corners. Yeah, spires like
Yeah.
on different corners. And my guess is they were trying to jump from one to another.
Oh my
Like that's what they
God.
mean by the quadrants. The man made it, but the woman did not. Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that would be horrifying
Exploring
to find
abandoned
that in the middle of the
buildings,
night.
yeah, is like not something I ever want to do. Like people go and,
No.
do like the creepy hospitals that, were just
Yeah.
psych hospitals from the early 1900s that were just abandoned. And I'm like,
Yeah. And like factories that
no.
have been abandoned and all that.
Yeah, not just
There's
for the
like a
spooky, but like
whole
you're gonna die. You're gonna fall through.
exactly.
a floor.
Yeah,
You're gonna not
something
make a
like that.
jump. Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
scary.
Think about it. Abandoned means that no one's been there for a long time.
Yeah, no
And
one's
that
taking
doesn't
care
just
of
mean that
this.
people don't live there. Exactly. They don't take care of it. And there's like a whole subsect of like Twitter or not Twitter, sorry, of TikTok and like Instagram reels of people
Uh-huh.
exploring those kind of things.
Yeah.
And I like can never watch them. One, because I feel like a monster is gonna like pop out of something and
Yeah.
like scare me. And then the other is just because I'm like, okay, you're filming yourself committing a crime. You're filming
Yeah.
yourself in a dangerous area.
Right.
Like if
We're gonna
someone
see you
finds
die.
exactly, like I don't want to witness like is this a snuff film? Are you
Oh,
like live
right.
streaming your own death? I do not like this.
Yeah, for
So
real.
yeah, word to the wise based on this case from 2009 in September. Don't be like those people. Don't do
Yeah.
that. It's sad, super, super sad that she lost her life. And all the articles I found, it was like an unidentified woman. Like they never put her name in it, which is probably
Oh.
good. I don't think I
Yeah,
want
it's
to say
probably
her
for the
name anyways,
family.
even if I did know it. But
Yeah.
yeah, just super sad. So that's what people
Whoa.
try to do now. Like that's the kind of culture that ghost hunting has created. Where just like amateur everyday people think that they can just get out there and do whatever they
Yeah.
want. And it's
Right.
just
Versus like
become
these
this,
shows have to get so many permits to film.
yeah,
Like the studio is like,
exactly.
there's so much liability involved. We're not sending you to an abandoned place. Like people probably forget
Yeah.
that. Like these shows aren't just like, we're going into like Bob
Random bros.
Mackey's old like
Hmm.
music hall or whatever. It's like
Bobby
real
Mackey's Music
niche,
World.
really niche for
Yeah.
us where we
Oh,
lived. But yeah, like there's so much precaution that these shows take. Like, yeah, the place
yeah.
looks spooky because of the lighting and it's at night, but like,
Yeah.
yeah, there's like health inspectors going through
Yeah, exactly.
beforehand.
Beforehand, right? Or some sort of, at least the producer is going to like pull the like property records and see like,
Yeah.
hey, is this
When's
place
last
like
inspection?
condemned?
Yeah.
Exactly. Or is it just like it's owned by someone, but like it's closed off because of whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just different.
Yeah,
So,
TV is not
um,
real.
no, it is not, nor are movies, because
Yeah.
while we are all, or probably almost all, again, if you're watching this podcast, you're probably familiar with like famous, notable ghost hunters like
Mm.
Ed and Lorraine Warren, who again do not believe
Oh,
everything you see on TV and in movies about them because it's not
oh man.
real.
Nope.
And there's also the psychic researcher Harry Price, who
Oh,
I wasn't super familiar with. I'd like heard his name and I was like, that
yeah.
sounds familiar. But the only reason why I'm going to mention him here is because remember how I said that the cleric was one of the people that started that society
Yes. Was that his
for
like great
psychical
grandfather or
research?
something?
No, it wasn't. Harry Price just did a really good job of like meeting with these clerics. He was more of a scientist than the other people were. So
Oh,
he would
uh-huh.
sit down and listen to the things that they're saying. And his whole job, he got famous for calling out fraudulent mediums.
Oh, hell
So he
yes.
created his own like
Uh-huh.
psychological whatever institute that literally was created to challenge the people in the other one.
Hell yes.
Yeah, I should
I
have
feel
written the
like,
name of it down, but yeah.
yeah, I feel like I'd heard of his name too. I didn't realize that's who he was though. But I'm pretty sure also, because that was like also a big movement. I'm pretty sure Harry
Hmm.
Houdini fucking hated like those societies too. And he also like was always like,
Yes,
I'm gonna disprove it.
yes, his name, and the only reason why I keep looking over here is because I have the Wikipedia page pulled up for it still. I'm not gonna
Oh
like
yeah.
scroll through it, but I remember reading Houdini's name in either the ghost hunting page or on Harry Price's
Yeah, it's
page.
probably
And
on
I was
Harry
like, wait,
Price's.
because they were kind of in the same realm where they made careers out of uncovering like swindlers. So
Yes,
people who were
exactly.
trying to do like magic tricks and stuff like that and say that it was like a ghost or something like that. They would be
Yeah.
like, "Oh no, see, this is how this guy did this. It's
Yeah.
actually a magic trick. He's swindling you all. He's a fake." But
Yeah.
I think that Harry Price still like believed in something in an afterlife or
Yeah.
something or ghost of some sort. And his idea was like, I'm trying to make it more legitimate. Like I'm trying to
Yes.
get these fake
Get the
people
fakes
out of
out.
this industry so we can actually get to real answers. Like
Yeah.
I don't think he was a full-on skeptic. I think he did kind of believe
Yeah,
that
he
something
wanted to
was going on.
strengthen the field somehow.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So yeah, like while people are probably pretty familiar with those very famous ghost hunters in history, today, like I said, with all the modern equipment and how
Hmm.
popular it's become from TVs and movies, ghost hunting has become like a much more common job with a lot of small businesses starting up in the mid and early 2000s.
Mm.
And a lot of them said that like doing ghost tours or doing like
Yeah.
different sort of documentary series, like their viewership or their customer base has increased exponentially in like the
Interesting.
decade since
The
like
ghost economy.
2006 or so. The ghost economy,
You
if
freaking
you will, the
economist.
paranormal invest. Give
She's
me
back
my
at
Nobel
it.
Peace Prize. I'm back. Okay. It's good for our small communities. You know, we actually need more tax incentives and subsidies for people to go out there and hunt ghosts if they would
Get
like.
them in here.
But just to like, as an example of this, everyone right now, as soon as you're or open another tab in your internet browser right
Uh-huh.
now, go to Google and just Google ghost hunters, and you will see, I guarantee you, no matter where in the country or where in the world
Local
you live,
ones.
local businesses will pop up because I literally just
Yeah.
Googled ghost hunters to like find the Wikipedia page on it. And it was like all of these like phone numbers
Ding,
popping
ding,
up,
ding,
like
ding.
two
Yeah.
and a half miles away, 3 miles away, which in the DC area does not actually surprise me
Yeah.
because lots of haunted stuff and cursed probably things going on around
Yes.
here. So people always feel a need to be like, yeah, we can hunt ghosts and fix that curse for you, Senator such and
Yeah.
such. Um, so yeah, everybody run to Google and just check and see who your
Yeah.
nearest ghost hunter is, and maybe I don't
Put
know,
in the
maybe at least like
comments.
check out, yeah, put them in the comments, maybe check out their webpage, see if they seem like
Yeah.
they're actually about it, if they're skeptical or if they're
Yeah, what's the
like just
vibe?
saying in it to see, yeah, no, anything and everything is a ghost, we can prove it, don't worry, or if they're like
Yeah.
really trying to be scientific about it. Because I
Yeah.
do think there are two schools of thought, or actually there's three schools of thought. You either don't believe at all, you
Hmm.
believe, but you don't believe everything, or you
Yeah.
believe everything. And
Yeah.
so interesting to parse through those different beliefs and yeah,
Hmm.
that's ghost hunting for you.
Wow. Wait, which school of thought are you?
I would put myself in the middle. I would
Yeah.
say I've seen strange things and heard strange stories from people that I know and trust and love and
Yeah.
believe and don't think they have reasons to lie about the things they're telling me.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I mean, I don't think that like anytime you feel a cold breeze in a very old house, I don't think that's a ghost. I think that's just the old house not having good
Yeah, being
ventilation or
drafty.
something, or exactly being drafty.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I've had a couple experiences that made me think like, what the fuck was that? So I
Yeah.
can't say that I totally counted out. And because what am I? I'm just a Nobel Peace Prize winning economist,
You're
Grace.
just
I
about the
can't
economy.
know. I can't know everything about
Yeah.
the beyond and what
Just
comes
most
after this
things.
life. Exactly, just most
'Cause
things.
most
So
things
I'm
are about
mostly,
money.
as with everything else, I'm agnostic. I just don't know, so I
Mm,
can't say yes or no. But I
yes.
mostly I think no, but I can't say no totally. So I
Yeah.
feel like there's something there. But what about you?
Yeah,
And it's
I'm the
okay if
same.
you just shit on me and be like, yeah, no, you're stupid.
Or if I'm like, yeah, no, yeah, stupid in either direction. No,
Yeah.
to no surprise, probably between you and I'm the exact same way. I'm agnostic. I think,
Yeah.
yeah, I've similarly, people close to me have said some things, or yeah, I've like experienced some like, oh yeah, what was that type of stuff. But
Hmm.
like, yeah, I've never had something so solid that it's like, I believe this. I think I really want to
Yeah.
believe because of
Yes.
the funness of it.
Hmm.
But I think, yeah, have that agnostic feeling and like I think I want it too bad. Like I want to be able to believe, but I need that like personal
Hmm.
experience. And I
You need
think
the
they're like,
proof. Yeah.
nah, we're
Yeah.
not going to go after someone who's this desperate for it, like
Yeah.
uninterested. But
Exactly.
well, yeah, the ghosts are like, we're not
We
going to haunt
can,
you.
she reeks of desperation.
Yeah,
That's
it's going to
that's
ruin
the
our
ultimate
haunting
ghost
vibe.
proofing. Yeah.
Yeah. But I did want to say, because yeah, basically exactly the same of like agnostic, like
Yeah.
would be great to be a full believer. It's less fun to be
Yeah.
totally anti, and so it's just more fun, I think, to be
Exactly.
open
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
But we're always on the same page. That phenomenon I was talking about in my episode last week of like the man in the moon and the word I couldn't say
Yeah.
really great, like the Delo or some Delia or something, whatever it was.
Yeah.
I don't have it
Yeah.
in front of me to attempt to pronounce it. One of the things on the Wikipedia page is that some people will say that this is also why people like how people talk about the paranormal is because it's again like uh inside
Mass
putting a
hysteria type of thing.
well, of like putting a meaning, like a meaningful interpretation on something nebulous to like help us understand or
Hmm.
relate to it is like what
Yeah,
people
yeah.
like that could be an explanation for like ghosts. It's like I just saw something spooky and it's shadowy, and as humans we're naturally like scared of the dark because of
Hmm.
evolution. Oh,
Yeah.
let me make sense of this. A ghost makes sense, kind of thing. So
Yeah,
just
yeah.
as a funny tie-in to we're always talking about the
Facts.
same things, even if we don't mean
This
to.
is this is why we call it an arc, because all the episodes
Yes.
somehow come together and are
Ah,
related. But I
wow.
also think to that degree too, I think it's partially probably like a coping mechanism for death
Yeah.
too, right? Because people
Yeah.
just don't like to believe that no, it can't
Gone
just be
forever.
over, right? Like I can still be here, I'm just not
Yeah.
here,
Right. Or like my
right?
loved
And
one
so
isn't just
yeah,
gone. Like I can still
yeah.
contact them. Yeah.
Right, right. And I think too, I guess it's just to put a bow on all of this
Mm.
ghost talk, and then we'll get back to
I
Inspector
forgot we were
Gadget.
talking about him.
Exactly. No, you're like, how do we get on this
Who?
topic again? Um, to the extent that I do believe in them, I don't believe that they're just these inherently like evil,
Yes.
malevolent things. It's like, okay, a
Yeah.
ghost could be everywhere, but they're probably just chilling, vibing, just
Yeah.
doing
They're
their thing.
like,
They're not all like throwing your books off of a shelf or like
yeah.
pulling you by the hair or like
Right.
rattling your bed at night. Like
Yeah.
I don't think I
They're
believe in
probably
any
like
of that. But like, is a
just like
spirit still
people.
lingering somewhere? I don't know. Maybe. I'm
Yeah.
again just a Nobel Peace winning a prize
Well, what do
winning
we know?
economist. I can only know. We can only
Only
know
know
so
so
much.
much.
Grace have won her prize in humanities and linguistics and
Yeah.
anthropology, and I'm in economy. So
Yeah, but
it's
not
just
para
not
economy, not
parapsychology or yeah,
para
pseudoscience. Yeah,
humanities.
exactly. So,
Real hard facts is
you
what
know,
we are experts in.
exactly. And we
Wow,
just don't have them
amazing.
yet, but we still want to believe.
We're
So,
on the
yeah.
list. Yes.
And that is about the extent to which we're going to be talking about ghosts today.
For
Actually,
now.
in this episode
Oh.
of Inspector Gadget called Ghost Catchers. Yes. Because
Okay.
we quickly learn in this episode,
Hmm.
shortly after Gadget leaves with Brain to begin his investigation, we quickly learn that Dr. Claw's evil plot does not actually involve ghosts at all.
These rich people are just like, ah, a ghost.
Ah, something. It's just actually just like a middle class person.
Oh, they're in rags. A
Oh, they're in
ghost.
rags. It must be a ghost. I feel like Scrooge. It's the ghost of Christmas past coming to
Exactly.
haunt me.
Is
Yeah.
wearing the rags. That's exactly what I was
Yeah.
picturing.
Yeah.
Oh, gross.
Ugh. So, we see Dr. Claw on a video chat with this week's specialist or
Okay.
accomplice,
Okay.
a scientist, I suppose, by the name of Dr. Spectrum.
Okay.
And Dr. Spectrum, I'll describe him real quick here. He's an older guy. He's bald. He has very bushy white eyebrows. He's wearing thick-rimmed red glasses, so actually kind of
Oh,
stylish,
fashion
with a
statement. Okay.
long yellow lab coat
Oh,
and
okay.
green pants. And
He is bold.
he's very bold. And I will say, when you say it out loud without seeing it, I'm like, this sounds like a lot.
Yes, it sounds bad.
Somehow he ties it together pretty well. I'm not gonna
Okay.
lie. I'm like, Dr. Spectrum or Dr. Runway? Which one are we here? Because he's kind of making it work. But you're right. It's
Okay.
bold. It's out there. It's a
But that's what
loud
fashion
outfit.
is bold.
Exactly. Exactly. And you know what? We're talking about the spectrum. We're talking about the visible light spectrum.
Yes,
Roy G. Biv, he's
exactly.
seeing how many he can get in there. We're talking about the electromagnetic spectrum, perhaps, with,
Probably.
I don't know, man. We're talking about ghosts that have something to do with spectrum, spectral analysis. I
Spectral.
don't know. Yeah. So, anyways, Dr. Spectrum, he tells Dr. Claw that his ghost globules are working
Okay.
splendidly
Okay.
and that people would pay anything to get rid of them. And I had to look it up.
Like a
Globule is an actual word. Yeah,
I was just saying, are they running like a blackmail scheme to get money of like,
kind
hey, we'll
of.
get rid of this problem if
It's
you
fraud.
pay it up. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's basically it. Yes. And
Okay.
so a globule, according
Yes.
to, I think, dictionary.com, is like a bead or like a little ball.
Okay.
And so what he does, he kind of does a little demonstration for Dr. Claw. He picks up this little globule out of a box, like a little grayish bluish globule, and he just blows on it. And this globule turns into this oddly shaped, like translucent-ish little ghost that starts flying around and is like howling and yelling. And honestly, it's like super annoying, actually. It's making the most annoying sounds ever and is like uncontrollably just flying and bouncing all over Dr. Spectrum's lab. And so he goes on to say that all he has to do, all Dr. Spectrum has to do to get rid of these ghosts is to spray them with rancid cooking oil, and then they'll disappear.
Oh, okay.
So this man has just been stockpiling his old oil for years, probably coming up with this plan. Or he's been like, he has a deal with like restaurants or something in Metro City just to like, yeah, give us your old oil.
I'll take them. No questions. Don't worry about why I need them.
Yeah. So Dr. Claw, he's pretty pleased by this little demo that Dr. Spectrum gives him, saying, good, so you've created these little ghost thingies. You showed me how to get rid of them. You got rid of them. Everything's working. Perfect. Okay. So he then tells Mad Cat that Dr. Claw tells Mad Cat that he couldn't be more pleased about the way that this is all working out, the way this plot is going, unless the only thing that could please him more than this successful demonstration would be if somehow Gadget also happened to disappear forever, which that's, I know, I was like, you just had to throw his name in there. Something tells me he just wanted to bring Gadget up. He just wanted him to come up in conversation. He was hoping Mad Cat would ask, like, oh yeah, how is Gadget doing? So that Dr. Claw could talk about him and say, oh, Gadget? Yeah.
Oh, him? Did I say him?
Yeah. Actually, did I say Gadget?
I didn't notice. That's crazy.
Trolling his hair. Did I say Gadget? I didn't even.
Why did he say something about me?
What did he say? Did he call?
What did you hear?
I didn't see that he called. Did he email? What?
Did you not take the message? Did you not get his number? I mean, if he showed up, we could make him disappear or whatever.
Maybe. But... yeah, but it's cool. It's whatever. So. Yes, Dr. Spectrum then leads a duo of mad agents that I guess Dr. Claw has loaned to him to infiltrate a party for some reason. We'll get to that in a minute. And then during that party, Dr. Spectrum will release his ghost globules into this high society party, by the way. It's because, again, they're trying to scare rich people here.
And eventually...
yeah, I'm like, okay, keep talking, keep going.
I'm still listening.
So far, no one is getting hurt. No one, okay. And eventually, the goons will disguise themselves, the two mad agents who are in the party, hiding in the party, they'll disguise themselves as ghost catchers. They'll spray these ghosts with the rancid oil, and then they'll cash in on the fortune that they're going to charge these rich party hosts for ridding them of their ghost problem.
I mean,
and I was like, honestly, sounds like capitalism to me.
Like,
sounds like a free and fair economy.
Yeah, I was like
if you fall for that, then
think of examples of this happen. Like, this is how some businesses work.
Exactly. Like, not rich people get targeted like this all the time by like services that wealthier people think they need, or like things they think they need. And they're like, spend all your money on this instead of like the things you actually need. So like, to me, it looks like Dr. Claw is punching up for a change instead of down or over. And
I really hope it doesn't get thwarted.
Okay with it. Yeah.
I'm not mad.
So yeah, but sadly, we're familiar enough with this show now to know that a wrench is always thrown in Dr. Claw's plans. And in this case, also Dr. Spectrum's plans, when by sheer luck and or stupidity and or both, Inspector Gadget winds up inspecting this very party. He doesn't even know how he gets there. Actually, no, he does know how he gets there. It's in the most ridiculous way. Shortly after leaving his house to begin this assignment, while he's driving in the van with Brain, who is obviously panicking in the passenger seat because he's like, oh my God, we're about to have to fight off ghosts. I don't, he's like, I'm so nervous. Yeah. His little compression or whatever, like anti-anxiety vest. So while they're driving, he sees two ghosts actually just strolling down the sidewalk,
Oh,
actually,
okay.
going towards a mansion and making their way right up the steps and into this mansion.
Okay.
And so when he sees them, he's like, oh, were those two ghosts? That has to be some of the ghosts that Chief Quimby was just telling me about.
Okay.
But to anyone with a brain who is not a robot, actually, with the
Half a
face
brain.
of a man on them, yes, and half a brain, they will see that these are actually just two full grown adults dressed up in a ghost costume because they are going to a costume party. As they are loudly exclaiming while they are walking into
What
the
a
house, oh
costume
my
party.
God, we can't wait for this costume party. Our ghost outfits are going to win us the prize.
Oh my God. Okay.
But Gadget
Great.
doesn't hear this, or
No,
he is just ignorant. You know, ignorance is bliss, man. It really is.
it's
And so
something.
he decides to just pull his car over right there
Let's
in
crash this
front of this
party.
mansion, crash this party. So he
Okay.
follows them in and starts investigating.
And this is the party
But
that that Spectrum is going to. It happens to be a
happens
costume party.
a costume party where
Okay.
adults happen to be dressed as ghosts.
Okay.
Yes.
Got
Again,
it.
sheer luck and stupidity
On all
is what
parts.
gets Gadget on all fronts.
Yeah.
So it works though, again, that this is a costume party because it's an easy way for Gadget to get in without an
Mm.
invitation. The
Yes.
butler opens up the door for him and looks at him like, yes, a detective, good outfit, come on in. But
Hmm.
Gadget is like saying, no, like I'm here on investigation. I'm on assignment. I got some ghosts to hunt down. And the
Uh-huh.
butler is just like, okay, this guy was obviously pre-gaming for this party and he's
He's in the character.
really in
He's
character.
committing.
Yeah. So the butler's like, okay, dude, whatever, go in.
Yeah.
Like,
Bye.
enjoy the party. And let me just say, as you're watching this, I'm not going to go into details about all this because, again, basically this whole episode is Gadget's investigation. So we know
Oh, can't believe
shenanigans
it
and
gets
antics will
solved.
ensue. Penny will come and
Yes.
save the day in a moment.
Okay. Okay. Great.
But I will spare you all of the ridiculous details of what happens in this party. And
Thank God.
we'll just do some broad strokes here.
Okay.
And we'll start the broad strokes by talking about some of the costumes that you're going to notice people are
Let me hear
wearing
it.
when you watch this episode.
Okay.
It's honestly pretty crazy. And I feel like the animators just got wild with it. They were like, oh, no rule, no
No
reins, no
parameters.
rules. Yeah, no parameters. We can literally put whatever we want in here. Cool, let's do it.
Okay. Let's hear
We've
it.
got I'm just going to go through a few, the ones that came off the top of my mind as I was writing
Okay.
this. There's a person dressed as a cactus. Um, but they are in a pot too. So it's not just
Good.
like a
Committed.
person like there's an actual pot around their legs.
Amazing. And they're like
Super committed.
shuffling. They actually can't move.
Exactly. Just like shuffling around.
Good.
There's a person in a lumberjack costume, which isn't super crazy,
Classic.
but I want to say like they're super big and I want to say they maybe didn't have a shirt on underneath the overalls or something. So
Oh,
I was
okay.
like, or maybe
Ooh.
they did. It just didn't
Someone was
seem like they did
also
because it was like
pre-gaming.
skin tight. Yes, exactly. Hilariously, Brain is dressed up as a ballerina. I just had to throw that in there. It's so cute. And
Cute.
Inspector Gadget does not recognize him the entire night. He thinks it's some cute little girl trying to flirt with him or
Oh
something, or
God.
some cute young lady, I believe he
Yeah.
calls her. But my absolute favorite
Yes.
costume that made me just had to pause and say, huh, maybe I should describe a few of these costumes because I
Okay,
can't not tell Grace about this.
I'm ready.
This character has no lines, no I mean, it literally, it's just someone who passes by the camera at one point, and I had to
Okay.
pause and say, is that what I think it is? There is a person dressed as a fly, I want to say,
Flat
or
like
maybe a mosquito. They
oh.
have like a full like bug suit on with like massive
Like giant
eyes.
eyes.
Yes, but they're like crawling on the floor
No.
blindly. Yeah,
No, this is the demon. This is where you need to y'all be focusing on. Ghosts, they're fine. Those people dressed as a ghost, they're just having a good time. The globules, they're harmless. This guy,
this guy.
this is the this is the demon that needs to be exorcised from this
It,
party.
it is so creepy because you just
Absolutely
see
not.
like the camera pan across this like room and you just see
No.
a man in in a fly costume crawling around
No, absolutely not. This is at
like pretending to be blind. Yeah,
no, no, this is absolutely where I say call that
leave.
cleric back in. Get that cleric in, get those paranormal investigators. I don't care who it takes. Get this guy out of my
This
fucking
man is
party.
possessed. This
Yeah,
man
this
is
is
fucking possessed.
full possession. He has crossed over.
Yes,
Something else has come within him. Pazuzu is here.
he's here. Beelzebub, Pazuzu, I don't know which one you are, but man,
They're
he's
both,
he is in
but you
this
gotta
man.
leave. Who invited you?
Please. So
I hate
yeah,
that.
those are a few of the
I
costumes. There are
hate that so
several
much.
others that are just like as ridiculous, but the fly one really stuck with me and I was like,
Unwell.
this is creepy. And I'm telling you, just
Yep.
the way you see it crawl across the screen when they show him. Again, no
Oh.
lines, no prominence. Like the camera doesn't even focus on
You
him.
just
You
have to
just see
catch
him
it.
crawling across as like other things are happening.
That's even
And
scarier.
I was like, who is this
Did you
man?
like double
Please,
take
somebody
it?
get it. Yeah, I like had to double take, rewind, and pause. Like, was
Oh,
that what I thought it was,
that
or
makes it so much
something
scarier.
wrong with me? Yeah. So, anyways, that's
Great.
the party they're at. And naturally, as per everywhere else in this world of Inspector Gadget, Dr. Claw has this place totally hardwired with security cameras. So he sees when Gadget approaches the party, is like walking up to the mansion, and he sees when Inspector Gadget actually walks in and is like mingling with the guests. And he's like, ah, shit, he's here. He's got to be
Yeah.
investigating something. So Dr. Claw calls Dr. Spectrum and tells him now to watch out for Inspector Gadget and not let him ruin their plan.
Okay.
Because of course Dr. Claw is in some remote location on its own, while
Yes.
Dr. Spectrum is actually in a van outside of the party, like keeping tabs on everything. Okay. So Dr. Spectrum then calls the two mad agents that are inside of the party, and tells them about Gadget and tells them to get rid of him by any means necessary.
Okay.
And these two mad agents, it's a man and a woman. The man is short,
female
co-ed. Yeah. Actually, yeah.
Like literally only seen like the trapeze artist, the opera singer, Penny.
Penny, and that's it.
Like not just like female villain, but like female in this show.
Exactly. I was gonna say, and none of them are mad agents.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So the man, he's like short and bald, maybe like a little bit rounder. And the lady is very tall, thin, like all legs, and has a black bob cut. And she's obviously like got this femme fatale, like perhaps like she very much has this like femme fatale sort of vibe about her, like very mysterious. Whereas the short bald guy is a little bit more eccentric and like, if I could think of a character he reminds me of, I would say Stanley Tucci in The Devil Wears Prada.
Perhaps. Okay, I love them.
Yeah.
I'm still on Dr. Claw's side right now.
I was like, I don't know who I'm rooting for here. I know I do know who I'm rooting for, and I don't like it. Yeah. Or maybe I do like it, you know? Why not?
I want them to like me.
I'm okay with it. Yeah. Like he is pretty sassy. He's pretty fabulous. He is just like talking about how excited he is to try these new gadgets and everything, or these new, inventions that they've come up with to like kill Inspector Gadget, and they're going through all these ideas and we see them execute each of these ideas. So the lady is like, well, what I'll do is I'll just poison his canapes. So she walks out dressed up as a waitress or whatever and offers Gadget some canapes, some hors d'oeuvres, if you will, that are obviously poisoned unbeknownst to him. Later, the man tries to offer Gadget some champagne that has an exploding cork in the bottle. So he's like, yes, would you like this bottle of champagne? And he tries to hand it to him, all that, waiting for it to explode. None of these work, obviously. We'll talk about why in a minute. And the lady, again, after neither of these two plans work, she, as their final threat here, tries to seduce Gadget through her quote unquote tango of death, aka the band starts playing what she calls her song, which is a nice like Latin number. And she grabs him and says, shall we tango? And the two of them tango until she tries to like spin him and throw him off of a balcony onto a large grouping of rocks beneath this mansion that is also somehow on a cliff.
Is she giving lessons? Is she teaching classes?
Is she teaching? Because I would like to know the tango of death.
I'm interested.
Perhaps. Could spice up the next party you go to, maybe a little tango of deathing, And so, in every attempt that they carry out to try to kill Gadget here, he's able to sneak past danger, as we always see in every single episode. But mostly it's because this like cute young lady and cute little thing in a ballerina's costume keeps getting in the way of these mad agents anytime that they're trying to get close to Gadget. And Gadget is like he's like, hey, lady, like you're nice and everything, but I'm trying to dance with this lady. Like, you're gonna have to wait your turn.
All over me.
They're all over me. And he can't understand why this cute little lady in this ballerina costume keeps like stealing his hors d'oeuvres whenever the waitress is trying to hand them to him. Right. And why she is like knocking this bottle of champagne out of his hand when he's trying to just pop a bottle to toast the party. But yes, this cute little thing is obviously Brain, the cutest little thing in the show. And he obviously is able to save Gadget around every corner. He's working overtime. Not only is he terrified of the ghosts that they know they're about to encounter, but he's like defeating these mad agents every single step of the way. And now, once Brain starts to realize that the waitress and the waiter are kind of repeatedly trying to kill and attack Gadget, he decides that it's now time to call Penny for backup because something is obviously wrong here and it's about to probably get more dangerous. So she immediately drops her report to come save Gadget and solve the mystery. I think she's reading about computers. But also it's funny because she was waiting for the call. Let's be real, she knew she knew like any minute now. She's like,
when he called, she ran to her desk to act like she'd been studying, like, oh, hey, what's up?
This report's killing me.
God, I was in the middle of it. What can I do?
What can I do? What do you need? You need me to save you? And also Brain was probably on the phone like, Gadget's just over here partying. We're not getting anywhere in this investigation. So she's like, okay,
I think he forgot
here I come.
about it.
Yes, he did. So Penny hops on her bike and she rides on over to this party. But when she gets there, she immediately notices a sketchy van that is parked out front. And so she walks up to the sketchy van.
This was before we said in the previous episode when she got kidnapped that the white van had not yet been a fearful symbol for kids.
Exactly.
But would be.
When this isn't a white van, thankfully. It is like black and red or something. So great. But great. Way more welcoming, right? Than a white van.
An unmarked van.
Exactly. But so she walks up to this sketchy van and she peeks into the windows of it where she sees Dr. Spectrum inside messing around with a bunch of equipment, looking at the party because he's got like all the surveillance stuff in there. And most incriminatingly of all, preparing these ghost globules that he is then about to send out into the party. So she sees him like pick up one of the ball things and blow on it and sees all these ghosts like start to fly around in the van. And she immediately is like, oh, well, that is obviously how these ghosts are getting into the party. They're not real. And so Penny, very quickly, obviously putting two and two together, calls Brain and tells him not to worry, that like the ghosts aren't real and that she'll be in there in a minute and that it's just like Mad doing some crazy experiment to terrorize innocent people. And let me tell you, terrorize they do, because as soon as Dr. Spectrum releases these ghosts from the van, they burst through the doors of this mansion. They destroy everything. They're like knocking over tables. They're like breaking these like stacks of plates that are on the tables, like careening into the band that's performing. So like they drop their instruments and like fly off the stage and just create pure chaos.
Absolute menaces.
Yeah, exactly. And it reminds me actually so much of, I don't know when the last time you watched like the live action Casper the Friendly Ghost was.
The like one with the big, like the one that has like the big tongue and is kind of big.
Or like, all three of those like evil ghosts that he
like
lives with or whatever.
Trio.
They always just fucking barrel into whatever room they're in and just like not like just chaos. It literally reminded me exactly of that.
So funny because as you were saying that, I was like, was that Casper or Ghostbusters? Like, which one am I? It
probably happened in Ghostbusters too.
But yes, 1,000%. I have one of the particular ones in my head.
Yes, which And also, I'm glad you just mentioned Ghostbusters because I wasn't going to include it in this script, but I think it's safe to say it's pretty obvious. Ghost Catchers is the name of the episode. It was based off of Ghostbusters.
Amazing.
Anyways, so yes, these ghosts absolutely terrorizing this party, absolutely scaring the shit out of all these rich people in here, absolutely creating pure chaos. All of the party goers see this, they're panicking, they're fleeing and like hiding in different places throughout the house. It's like a stampede of all these people, like no one knows where to go. And Inspector Gadget is like trying to calm everyone down, like, no need to worry, everyone. I'm here to save you. Everything's under control. But Penny, before she goes into the house, she's like, well, I got to take down Dr. Spectrum before I go in and help them get those ghosts.
I was wondering, like, the bad guys are right here, Penny.
Exactly. Like, take him down first and then deal with the fake ghosts later. Like, are they creating chaos? Yes, but they're not real ghosts, so they're not actually hurting people. So let the rich people fear for a second in there. Penny's fine with that.
Yeah.
So she examines that van outside a little bit closer and realizes that there's a satellite on top of it. And she realizes that Dr. Spectrum and Mad are probably using the satellite as a way to control the ghosts inside of the mansion.
Oh, okay.
So Brain calls her again, like, hey, any updates out there? It's getting kind of fucking crazy in here, Penny.
You said ghosts weren't real, but I'm seeing some crazy ghosts
now. And you just like hear the chaos behind him and like see the ghosts flying around behind him. And I think he's actually like hiding under a table or something. Like, please help. Please fucking help.
What you doing out there?
Yeah, but she again is like, dude, I'm telling you, they're fake. I promise you, it's a science experiment by Mad. Like, and don't worry, I'm outside. I will be right in. Like, just stay calm for a few more seconds. I'm almost done with Dr. Spectrum. Okay. So right after she gets off the call with Brain, we hear Dr. Spectrum make an announcement over a loudspeaker system that is attached to his van. And it's like an advertisement, if you will.
Okay, let's hear it.
Stating that anyone in need of ghost removal services can give him a call immediately. Just dial 500 ghosts and we'll come and clean up your ghost problem in no time.
Wow, sir. Not even a subtle.
Not even. And I will say, earlier in the episode, we do see, while like Penny and them are watching TV at Gadget's house, an ad on TV for this guy where he's like advertising. Exactly. So this is a deep cut for him. They had a whole PR budget. You know, they had a marketing budget. They could make commercials and get them on the airwaves.
They laid the groundwork.
Exactly.
They probably got a catchy jingle.
They probably do. It's, you know, it's like actually just the Inspector Gadget jingle, but with like do, we get rid of ghosts or something like yes. So obviously inside of the house, all these rich people hear this announcement over the loudspeaker and they probably have seen the ads and everything. There's billboards, there's ads on TV. They've seen it all. They can't get enough of this ghost guy, or actually they're probably getting too much of him until now when they need his services. So they order the butler to call that number immediately so that they can get rid of these ghosts that are obviously creating panic and chaos at this party. And only a few moments later, after the butler makes a phone call, we see two ghost chasers, if you will, bust out of the kitchen.
Who you gonna call?
Ghostbusters. I ain't afraid of no ghosts. Another deep cut. Last week we talked about our love for Benny and the Jets. Grace and I also spent a lot of time singing the Ghostbusters song. There were a lot of reasons why our high school teachers wanted to separate us in class. It wasn't there's too many to count, quite frankly. That's another one of them, though, randomly screaming, Bustin' makes me feel good in the middle of class, and then just going back to our work. Typical normal day in the life of.
Was that who did that song?
I think so.
Yeah, anyways.
You could look it up. Well, yeah,
no, I think so. It's fine.
I just remember us listening to that while we were carving pumpkins one year. I feel like we kept replaying the song.
Halloween CD over and over again. was our favorite song. Yes.
It was just, yeah, we probably annoyed the shit out of some other people. Other people like get PTSD hearing like
When they hear
Ghostbusters
that.
now, and we just like
We're
keep singing
triggering
it.
everyone
Yeah.
right now.
Let me tell you. Yes. So, yes, these ghost chasers, they kick their way out of the kitchen, ready to save the day, which that I'm watching this like, why were they already in the kitchen? Which at this point made me realize, why did they have the mad agents inside? It's
Oh,
like
this
they
isn't
had to
those two.
know.
It's other people.
No, it's them. It's the
Oh.
same too. But they sent the
Oh.
agents there before they knew Inspector Gadget was going to be there.
Maybe
They
they
could have
just
just
wanted to
showed up after. They
You
just
know
wanted
what?
to party.
Exactly. It was there. They were like, look, we need to be within the party. We need to get the schematics. We need to try some of the hors
That's
d'oeuvres,
true.
have a couple glasses
Yeah.
of champagne. We got to be
Champagne.
we got to know
Immerse
the
ourselves.
situation. We got to know who's the
Exactly.
richest in the room so we can target
Yeah.
saving their lives first.
Which this is true and fair. It's like, yeah, maybe they need to know the mansion layout.
Yeah.
Maybe like they need, in case something goes wrong, they have to have people on the inside, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe the ghosts come in and everyone's just staring at them like, oh, what kind of costume is that? And then the agents have to be like, no, they're ghosts, guys. Ah, panic.
Oh
Oh
no. Yeah.
no, call this number right now,
Yeah, like
please.
they're
And then
like
they like
bird
run out
dogging
and
the
change.
party.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh no.
Exactly. Um, so yes, they come out of the kitchen ready to hunt the ghosts and also Inspector Gadget because they are
Ooh.
the mad agents. And so they're
Yep.
like, well, we got to get him and these ghosts out of here.
Yep.
But Inspector Gadget is also trying to chase these ghosts, right? Because
Okay.
that's his
That's
job.
his
Once they
job.
pop in here, he's like, ah, finally, I found them. Let
Oh,
me
great.
chase
I have
them
a job
down.
to do.
Yeah, so he's using all of his gadgets to like run after these ghosts through the party, trying to corral them, but they keep getting away from him.
Hmm.
And so a back and forth kind of like cat and mouse chase of shenanigans ensues between the mad agent ghost catchers and Inspector Gadget
Hmm.
and the ghosts, where like they're
Okay.
all chasing after
Each
each
other.
other and creating arguably more chaos than the ghosts were creating
I
on
should have
their
known.
own. As per
Should have
usual
known.
with Inspector Gadget, because these mad agents, part of their like ghost catching get up, they're again wearing uh, gimp suits basically with like gas masks on them and
Oh, okay,
utility
kind of scared me
belts.
now.
And so they also though have these like guns of some sort where you
Uh-huh.
just shoot a gun at something and I guess maybe it either kills it or it sucks the ghost into it. I think it's
Okay.
supposed to be a gun with like the oil in it that you spray
Yeah.
on the ghost, but they're also like pointing this gun at Inspector Gadget, trying to
Maybe
get
just
rid of
intimidate
him.
him.
Sure, he doesn't know what's in the gun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So, yeah, as far as he knows, that it's an
It's a
actual
real
gun that could kill
gun.
him.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, this back and forth chase, like I said, it's creating a lot of chaos. And eventually, Brain is able to save Gadget from being
Mm.
attacked by the mad agents at every turn. Like every time they try to shoot him, Brain like pushes him over or like knocks something in front of them so they lose their
Mm.
aim on Gadget, whatever.
Hmm.
And Gadget, just not even realizing that his life is in danger, is just
Constant
mindlessly
danger.
continuing exactly to just chase down these pesky ghosts that
Mm.
he just can't seem to catch. So Brain again calls Penny to be like, dude, the third
What
and
are you
final straw. Where the
doing?
fuck are you? What? How long does
What
it
are
take to
you
take out Dr.
doing?
Spectrum?
For real.
Exactly. But she's like, it's okay. I'm almost done. I'm closing in on Dr. Spectrum now. Go ahead and call Chief Quimby. Like that's how close I am to being finished. You call
Okay.
him. I'll be in just 1 second and we'll finally finish this. So
Okay.
she pulls her computer book out of her book bag and figures out, like she opens it up and she, I don't know, figures out somehow that a radio wave is what Dr. Spectrum is using from that satellite on the top of his
Okay.
van to control the ghosts. And so
Okay.
she figures that she can probably scramble its signal if she
Naturally.
inputs specific coordinates exactly into her computer book. And, you know, she can then type them in and scramble the radio waves with.
Yeah.
That's the Inspector
Yes.
Gadget science we are given. Science.
Science.
So she
Good.
does this. She presses a few buttons and scrambles those radio waves. And out of
Okay.
nowhere, in the middle of just all this chaos that the ghosts are creating inside, they just stop dead in their tracks.
Oh.
sharply turn around, fly out the windows, and fly straight into Dr. Spectrum's van.
Oh, it says go right home.
They go home, and by that, they like straight up go home. It's one of the funniest things I've seen in this cartoon ever, Grace.
Let me hear it.
One of the ghosts hops into the driver's seat and just pukes the van out of there, just like pedal to the metal, Mad Max style, full focus on the road ahead, like angrily driving away. And Dr. Spectrum like pokes his head out from the back of the van like, hey, stop, I order you to stop. But this little dude is not listening. He just like eyes forward, just keeps like,
they like actually just suddenly became like sentient beings. They're like, I'm breaking free from this bondage.
And he just made it actually a lot worse.
Yeah. Now they want revenge.
She just gave them a conscience. Yeah, like a soul. Yeah. Now they like actually are ghosts, not just like random science experiments.
Who they were. Yeah.
Yep. And so the van just keeps speeding down the street until we just don't see it anymore. Gone. Bye. And Dr. Claw is furiously watching this on his surveillance system. He again curses Gadget for ruining what seemed like so close to being another perfect mad plot of thievery and fraud. And at that moment, Chief Quimby comes in, he swoops in and arrests those two mad agents who were inside the party. And he thanks Inspector Gadget yet again for a job well done, complimenting him on his ability to do what no one else can do, catch a ghost. The end.
Wow. So Spectrum gets away?
Technically, yeah. I mean, he's like prisoner to that little ghost globule now, but yeah, he gets away too. Yeah.
Ghostbusters
he's like
2
locked
is
in the back of the truck.
Into those ghost globules. Yeah. Ghostbusters 4 is about them.
The return of Dr. Spectrum. Yeah. So as the ghost is like driving him away, he tries to order him to stop. The ghost doesn't stop. And so we just kind of see him start to frown like, oh, and then that's it.
I guess I should have been nicer to them when I created and then imprisoned them. Oops.
Yep.
Wow. Oops. Great job.
That was a fun Thank you.
What a fun little caper.
Yeah. A cute little caper about ghosts and stuff. Again, thanks for sticking with me.
There's a ghost hunting involved. I'm there. I'm pulled up. I'm ready.
We're seated. Yeah, we're seated and strapped in and ready. Thank you. Yeah. And so until next week, when we hear another gadget caper of sorts and hopefully foiling of a mad plot, who should they tell about this podcast?
I think you should tell a skeptic, a paranormal skeptic who is trying to prove that paranormal doesn't exist. They're out there. I don't know. Go to Reddit. They'll be on comment threads discrediting people's experiences and thoughts.
They'll be easy to find.
We need both sides of all the arguments here. We're again, agnostic, so we want to hear from everyone. So go find a skeptic and let them know about this podcast.
Nice.
And then who else should I tell?
On the other end, then you got to tell the other side. Tell a true believer. Tell someone who is just like whatever cryptid or paras or what is it, pseudoscience type thing is out there. They believe it. Like there's always someone who believes every single one of those cryptid things. They believe in ghosts. They believe in Bigfoot, Sasquatch, etc. Nessie, all of them.
Yep.
We've covered a lot of these on this show now, coming to think about it.
You should listen to a lot of our episodes if that's you.
Yeah, you should if that's you. And see if anything we've said changes their mind, or maybe they have more evidence that they could show us to move us from the agnostic to the believing side.
Present us with your evidence, both sides.
Exactly, both sides. We will be the judge and jury of whatever it is that you have to say. Yes, us Nobel Peace Prize winning podcasters.
Yes, indubitably.
Indeed, pedantic, indeed.
Wow.
And so, until next week.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in to Saturday Morning Mysteries.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share, rate, review, leave us a like, and drop a comment. We post episodes every Saturday and bonus tune tangents whenever we feel like it. So please subscribe so you don't miss the shenanigans.
And if you want to follow us on YouTube, click the bell under the YouTube subscribe button to receive notifications when new videos are posted.
And if you want to subscribe to the podcast, we have no idea what you're listening to us on. So just hit the big subscribe button on whatever app you're using. We believe in you.
Give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at SatmornMist, all the abreves, and let us know if you have any episode or show requests by emailing SaturdayMorningMysteries@gmail.com.
Thanks to Jenna Kendall for the logo design and to Ava Sakiki for the music used during this week's episode.
See y'all groovy kids next week on Saturday Morning Mysteries.